Hi, everybody. This is my solo train trip from Hatyai, South Thailand, to Golok, the Thai border town of Malaysia. It is about 4 hours train ride starting from Hatyai station. This trip was inspired by some news I read about the Muslim insurgency in southern Thailand, about the train bombings, insurgency attacks. The 4-hour train ride will pass through Thailand's 4 southernmost provinces of Satun, Yala, Pattani, and Narathiwat, all Muslim-majority provinces. The journey begins from Hatyai train station. This solo trip to Hatyai in southern Thailand was inspired by the conflict, which have lasted for nearly 15 years, and thousands have died so far. An article I read says you need God and good luck to go the journey on rebel-hit Thai train. I was more than curious and decided to give a try. Hopefully God and good luck will be with me. It can't be more serious than that, so I give it a try. Here I am, taking the so-called tension-filled, dangerous train journey.
The train lurched forward, its initial jolt sending a ripple of excitement through the passengers. The rhythmic clatter of wheels against tracks became our soundtrack, a steady, almost hypnotic beat that seemed to echo the pulse of the land we were traversing. As we left the bustling heart of Bangkok behind, the cityscape gradually gave way to a more pastoral scene. Our destination, the deep south of Thailand, a region often described in whispers, its name synonymous with unrest and violence. I peered out the window, excitement mingling with a tremor of apprehension. The landscape outside, a tapestry of emerald rice paddies and swaying palms, held a deceptive serenity. This was, after all, a land scarred by decades of conflict, the site of a simmering insurgency that had claimed thousands of lives. My journey was not just about crossing miles, it was about traversing a landscape laden with history, tension, and a fragile hope for peace. I was determined to look beyond the headlines, to understand the human stories woven into the fabric of this troubled region. The train was more than a mode of transport. It was a moving microcosm of Thai society. Inside, passengers from all walks of life shared the space, families, solo travelers, and elderly couples, each with their own story, their own reason for making this journey. The child, pointing excitedly at the passing scenery, reminded me of the innocence that still existed amidst the turmoil. The elderly couple, holding hands, spoke of resilience and enduring love, even in the face of adversity. As the train picked up speed, so did my anticipation. The South awaited, a land of complexities waiting to be unraveled. The view from the window was a moving canvas, each frame telling a different story. Farmers toiled in the fields, their lives intertwined with the land they worked. Children played near the tracks, their laughter a stark contrast to the somber history of the region. Markets bustled with activity, a testament to the resilience and vibrancy of the local communities. In the distance, temples stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time, their spires reaching towards the sky, symbols of faith and endurance. This journey was more than a physical passage. It was a voyage into the heart of a land where every mile held a story, every face a history. The train, a thread weaving through the fabric of Thailand, carried us deeper into the south, into a region where hope and hardship coexisted in a delicate balance. As we moved forward, I felt a growing connection to the land and its people, a sense of purpose in uncovering the truths that lay beneath the surface. The South awaited, and with it, the promise of understanding and discovery. Southern Thailand, a region predominantly Muslim and ethnically Malay, stands in stark contrast to the rest of the predominantly Buddhist nation. This cultural and religious divide has been a source of tension for generations, shaping the identity and aspirations of the local population. The people of southern Thailand have a distinct cultural heritage, language, and traditions that set them apart from the majority of the Thai population. For centuries, this area existed as the independent Pattani Kingdom, a prosperous and culturally rich region with its own governance and way of life. The kingdom thrived on trade and maintained strong ties with other Malay states and the broader Muslim world. It was annexed by Thailand in the early 20th century, but the embers of autonomy never truly died out. The annexation was met with resistance and a sense of loss among the local population, who felt their sovereignty and cultural identity were being eroded. The flames of resentment were fanned by perceived cultural and religious discrimination, economic marginalization, and heavy-handed tactics by the Thai government. The local Malay Muslim community felt increasingly alienated and disenfranchised, leading to growing unrest and calls for greater autonomy or even independence. This potent mix of grievances ignited the insurgency in the early 1960s. The insurgents, driven by a desire to reclaim their cultural and political rights, began to organize and mobilize against the Thai state. Their actions were fueled by a deep-seated sense of injustice and a longing for self-determination. Separatist groups, demanding independence or greater autonomy, emerged from the shadows, their tactics ranging from targeted assassinations to brazen attacks on symbols of Thai authority. These groups sought to disrupt the status quo and draw attention to their cause, often resorting to violence as a means to an end. The Thai government responded with force, often further alienating the local population and exacerbating the cycle of violence. The heavy-handed approach of the military and security forces only deepened the divide, making reconciliation and peace ever more elusive. The conflict has left a lasting impact on the region, shaping the lives and futures of its people. The insurgency cast a long shadow over the region. News reports regularly carried grim accounts of bombings in crowded markets, ambushes on security patrols, and targeted killings of government officials and suspected informants. Schools, seen as symbols of Thai assimilation, were frequently attacked, further deepening the divide. The violence was not confined to the shadows, it spilled onto the streets, into everyday life. Even the railway, a symbol of connection and progress, was not immune. There had been instances of trains being derailed, bombed, and fired upon, grim reminders of the ever-present threat. As our train sped south, I couldn't help but feel a heightened awareness of our surroundings, a sense of vulnerability that was impossible to ignore. The insurgency was but one symptom of a deeper malaise, the systemic discrimination faced by the Malay Muslim population. Many felt like second-class citizens in their own land. They faced limited access to education and employment opportunities, their culture and language marginalized. This sense of exclusion fueled resentment and provided fertile ground for the insurgency to flourish. The economic impact of the conflict was undeniable. Tourism, once a mainstay, had dwindled to a trickle. Investors were wary, businesses struggled, and the cycle of poverty deepened. The conflict trapped many in a vicious cycle of violence, poverty, and hopelessness. Despite the weight of the region's troubled history, I found myself captivated by the sheer beauty of the landscape. Lush, green rice paddies stretched towards the horizon, punctuated by the graceful silhouettes of coconut palms. The air was thick with the scent of frangipani and the sound of tropical birdsong, yet reminders of the ongoing conflict were never far away. Military checkpoints manned by soldiers in camouflage fatigues punctuated the idyllic scenery. Armored vehicles patrolled the roads and barbed wire fences encircled government buildings. The beauty was undeniable, but it coexisted with a palpable tension, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. In the train carriage, life went on. Families shared meals, children laughed, and old men huddled over games of checkers. I struck up a conversation with a woman selling snacks, her face etched with the weariness of someone who had seen too much hardship. She spoke of the conflict with a mix of resignation and defiance. "It is our life," she said, her voice a low murmur. "We have learned to live with it." She spoke of her hopes for her children, her dreams of a future free from violence. Her words, laced with both sadness and resilience, stayed with me long after our conversation ended. The weight of history, ancient kingdoms, and modern conflicts. As the train rattled through ancient towns and villages, I couldn't help but reflect on the long and turbulent history of the region. This land was once home to powerful Malay kingdoms, centers of trade and culture that flourished centuries ago. Their legacy could still be seen in the architecture, the language, and the customs of the people. The insurgency, in many ways, was a modern manifestation of this historical struggle for identity and autonomy. The ghosts of past grievances lingered, fueling the flames of the present conflict. Understanding this historical context was crucial to comprehending the complexities of the present. Beyond the headlines, the human face of the insurgency. The insurgency was more than just a series of statistics or a news headline. It was a human tragedy, a conflict that had claimed thousands of lives and torn countless families apart. Behind the masks of violence and ideology were ordinary people, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, all caught in the crossfire of a conflict that offered no easy answers. There were stories of loss and grief, of communities torn apart by suspicion and fear, but there were also stories of courage and compassion, of individuals and organizations working tirelessly to build bridges of understanding and promote peace. Seeds of hope, education, development, and dialogue. Despite the challenges, there were flickers of hope. Grassroots organizations led by courageous individuals were working tirelessly to build peace from the ground up. They focused on education, economic development, and interfaith dialogue, seeking to address the root causes of the conflict. Their efforts were bearing fruit, however slowly. There was a growing recognition, on both sides of the divide, that violence was not the answer. Dialogue, however difficult, was the only path to lasting peace. A Journey's End, a story unfinished. Reflections on southern Thailand. As the train finally pulled into the station, marking the end of my journey, I was left with a sense of both sadness and hope. The journey had been long, winding through the lush landscapes and bustling towns of southern Thailand, each stop revealing a new layer of this complex region. The train's rhythmic clatter had become a backdrop to my thoughts, a constant reminder of the passage of time and the stories unfolding around me. Sadness at the human cost of the conflict, at the lives lost and the potential unrealized. The memorials and deserted streets stood as silent witnesses to the pain and suffering endured by so many. Each name etched in stone, each empty home told a story of dreams cut short and families torn apart. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the heavy price of discord, but also hope, inspired by the resilience of the human spirit which shone brightly even in the darkest of times. The smiles of the local people, the laughter of children playing amidst the ruins were testaments to an unyielding spirit. They were living proof that life goes on, that joy can be found even in the most unexpected places. Their resilience was a beacon of hope, a reminder that the human spirit is indomitable. The unwavering commitment of those working for peace, tirelessly striving to bridge divides and heal wounds, was truly inspiring. These peace activists, community leaders, and ordinary citizens were the unsung heroes of southern Thailand. Their efforts to foster understanding and reconciliation were the building blocks of a more hopeful future. They worked in the shadows, often unnoticed, but their impact was profound and far-reaching, and the belief that even in the darkest of times, the light of hope can never be extinguished. The candlelight vigils, the peaceful sunrises over tranquil villages, were symbols of this enduring hope. They represented the collective yearning for peace and the belief that a brighter future was possible. These moments of quiet reflection and unity were powerful reminders that hope, like the dawn, always returns. The train journey through southern Thailand had been more than just a physical journey. It was a journey into the heart of a complex and challenging region. Each mile traveled brought new insights, new stories, and a deeper understanding of the struggles and triumphs of the people who call this place home. The landscapes, both beautiful and scarred, told their own stories, adding layers of meaning to the journey. It was a journey into the heart of a complex and challenging region. The bustling markets, the serene countryside, each scene was a piece of the larger puzzle that is southern Thailand. The contrasts were striking, yet they coexisted in a delicate balance, reflecting the region's rich tapestry of life. It was a reminder that behind the headlines and the statistics, there were real human stories of struggle, resilience, and the enduring search for peace. It was a reminder that behind the headlines and the statistics, there were real human stories of struggle, resilience, and the enduring search for peace. The journalists capturing these stories, the headlines that brought them to the world's attention, were crucial in shaping our understanding of the region. They highlighted the human element, the personal narratives that often get lost in the broader discourse. There were real human stories of struggle, resilience, and the enduring search for peace. The portraits of local people, the community events showcasing unity and resilience, were powerful testaments to the strength and determination of the southern Thai people. They were stories of hope, of communities coming together to overcome adversity and build a better future, and the enduring search for peace. The peace gestures, the serene sunsets, All spoke of a collective desire for harmony and understanding. They were reminders that, despite the challenges, the quest for peace is a journey worth undertaking. It is a journey that requires patience, perseverance, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow.